Does it feel like putting yourself first is selfish? The moment you try to take care of your own needs, you're suddenly letting everybody else down. If that sounds familiar, stay with me because in this video, I'm going to show you why putting yourself first isn't selfish, it is essential. And you'll also learn how prioritizing yourself actually helps you show up as the best version of yourself, not just for yourself, but for everyone that you care about. By the end of this video, you'll have actionable tools to start putting yourself first in ways that feel empowering and not guilt-inducing. I'm Jayleen Edwards. I'm a firstborn daughter with a degree in psychology, and I help other firstborn daughters who, no matter how much they achieve or how much they do for others, they just feel like they're not enough. I know firsthand how easy it is to fall into the trap of taking care of everyone else while completely neglecting yourself. But here's the truth, you cannot pour from an empty cup. We've all heard that. And putting yourself first doesn't mean that you care less about others. It just means that you're giving yourself the care that you also deserve. So let's start with why this is so hard for firstborn daughters specifically. Growing up, many of us were the helpers. We were the ones who stepped in when things got tough. We were the problem solvers, the responsible ones. We learned early on that our value comes from how much we can do for others. But over time, that mindset becomes toxic. It leads to burnout, resentment, feeling completely disconnected from who you are outside of what you can do for others. And here's the real kicker, when you're constantly putting yourself last, you're actually not showing up fully for the people that you care about either. And that's why putting yourself first is actually one of the most selfless things that you can do. So how do you start putting yourself first without feeling guilty? Here are 4 strategies to help you shift your mindset and take action today. Number 1, I want you to start by giving yourself permission. One of the biggest barriers to putting yourself first is the belief that it's a wrong thing to do. But ask yourself this, if a friend came to you completely burned out and overwhelmed, would you tell her to keep doing more of what she's been doing? Or would you tell her, take a break, take care of yourself? You deserve that same care that you would want to give to somebody else. So start by giving yourself permission to prioritize your needs without justifying it to anyone. You don't have to explain yourself. Write it down if you need to. I am worthy of care, rest, and attention. Number 2, create a non-negotiables list. Sometimes putting yourself first feels abstract, and that's why I recommend creating a list. This is a short list of just daily or weekly activities that are just for you. It might include things like 15 minutes of quiet time in the morning, or a weekly workout, or a lunch break where you're not multitasking and answering text messages. These non-negotiables are actually acts of self-care that protect your energy, and then they remind you that your needs matter too. And before I share the last 2 strategies, I want to ask you something. Does the idea of putting yourself first feel completely out of reach because you're just so burned out and you're just running on empty? If that feels true to you, then I have created a free quiz to help you figure out how severe your burnout is and where you need to start on your healing journey. So I'm going to put the link to the quiz in the description below. And taking this quiz is really the first step towards creating that life where you feel empowered, you care about yourself, you don't have the guilt. So make sure to click the link and take that quiz. All right, let's talk about the last 2 strategies to help put yourself first. Number 3, practice saying no with grace. Saying no does not have to be confrontational or feel icky. It can be done with kindness and clarity. For instance, if someone asks for your help and you just don't have the bandwidth, just try saying, I really wish I could help, but I'm just maxed right now. I'm really sorry. This approach is honest and respectful. It sets a good boundary for you, and it reminds you that your time and energy are just as important as anyone else's. It also lets the other person know that you'd really like to help, but you just don't feel well enough or strong enough to. And that creates some understanding from their side so that they know that it's not personal, you just aren't up for it. Number 4, celebrate small wins. When you're starting to put yourself first, it can feel really uncomfortable, like you're going against everything that you've ever been taught and ever thought was true. And that's why it's so important to celebrate those small wins. So this can look like maybe you said no to an obligation, or you took an hour to yourself and you didn't feel any guilt. Whatever it is, just take a moment to acknowledge your progress and remind yourself that it matters. Small steps lead to big transformations. So you can just say to yourself, I'm so proud of me for taking that 1 hour and not feeling guilty. So now I want to hear from you. What is one small way that you can start putting yourself first this week? Pick a day, pick a thing, share it in the comments. And that's the end of this video. Thank you so much for watching. If this inspired you to start prioritizing yourself, please give it a thumbs up, subscribe to the channel, share it with other eldest daughters that you know who you think it might help, and make sure to watch this video next. And until next time, remember, you are enough just as you are without having to do, change, or be anything else for anyone else.